Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. My name is Fazuni Ismail and I am a second year psychology student. Today I want to represent to you ABPD1203 Child Psychology on the topic Piaget's stages of cognitive development. There are 4 things I need to address and discuss on this topic. Number 1 is the premise of Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Number 2 is what the key characteristic. Number 3, the criticism. Last but not least, number 4 is how Piaget theory contribute to my understanding of child development. So shall we begin? Let me start with the introduction of Piaget cognitive development theory. The term cognition is derived from the Latin word cognoscere, which means to know or to recognize or to conceptualize. The term cognitive development refers to the process of growth and change in intellectual or mental abilities such as thinking, reasoning, and understanding. Let's go on the next slide. According to Mooney, Jean Piaget was an epistemologist who investigated how children think and learn, though he was frequently referred to as psychologist. While according to Papahan and Saragay, Piaget developed a theory of cognitive development by observing his own children's behavior on certain tasks during infancy and childhood. Piaget specified 4 major periods corresponding to different ages of developing child. So now I will start to address the 4 topics that I mentioned earlier. Let's go to the next slide. On this slide, I will address on the core premise of Piaget cognitive development theory. There are 4, which are sensory motor stage, age newborn to 2 years old, pre-operational stage, stage 2, age 2 to 7 years old, stage 3 which is concrete operational stage, age 7 to 12 years old, and stage 4 which is formal operational stage, age 12 years old and older. I will elaborate more on these stages on the next slide. On the matter of fact, there is a transition stage on the pre-operational stage, stage 2. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, I will address on the first stage, which is sensory motor. Information is gained through the senses and motor actions. At this point, the child tries to make sense of the world during this stage by coordinating sensory experiences such as seeing, hearing, and taste. Also with motor actions such as reaching and touching. They also object permanence or object constancy develop when they grow older. On this slide, I will discuss on the second stage, which is pre-operational stage. During this stage, young children can think about things symbolically. They begin to use language, memory, and imagination. For example, 3 years old Rachel always reminds not to play with the scissor because it is dangerous. So when she sees her friend holding a scissor, she quickly take the scissor away and tell the friend that it's dangerous. There is a transition period called intuitive stage, which is age 5 to 7. During this stage, a child moves into the next stage. According to the child's worth, child seems so sure of his knowledge, yet he is unaware of how he knows and what he knows. Concrete operational stage, age 7 to 12. At this stage, the child can operate concrete objects, however, find it hard to solve the abstract problems. They also begin to understand the concept of the conservation. They understand reversibility, and the child will eliminate egocentric. During this stage, according to Charles Worth, the child begins to develop transitivity, seriation, classification, and decenter. Seriation means a serial arrangement or sequence, the act of arranging things in series. Let's go to the next slide, yeah? Okay, the last stage, which is the formal operational stage, stage number 4, 12 years old and older. During this stage, thinking moved from concrete to abstract. The child used symbol related to abstract concept, and the child's skills such as logical thought, deductive reasoning, and systematic planning also emerges. They started to emerge, all this kind of thing. And the child developed inductive as well as deductive logic. Well, so let's move to the key characteristic of Piaget theory on the next slide. There are 4 key elements characteristic of Piaget cognitive development theory, and they are schema, which is a basic knowledge, assimilation and accommodation. Through the process of assimilation and accommodation, that equilibration is achieved. I give you a better example on the next slide. Okay, let's have a look on the picture, on the slide. A boy sees bird fly as a schema. Schema, which is a basic new knowledge. When he sees an aeroplane that fly, he call it a bird, as he assimilate it with his schema. But when the sister told him it is an aeroplane, he accommodates to a new information that achieve the equilibration. Equilibration is a balance between applying previous knowledge, assimilation, and changing behavior to account for new knowledge, accommodation. On this slide, I will address on the criticism of Piaget cognitive development theory. The sample was biased, small and very homogeneous. All had similar genetic heritage. Homogeneous means of the same or similar kind or nature. And then Piaget also did not consider the effect of social setting and culture on cognitive development according to Central. However, the recent research show otherwise, which is adults teaching and guiding them, which is children can reach the next stage of development at early age. And according to Goswami, argued that children can solve problems by analogy, imitating, and applying relevant strategies across increasingly dissimilar situations. So, I have come to my final slide, which is the conclusion to my understanding. Piaget cognitive development theory has made significant contribution to the field of child development, which is offering a framework for understanding how children thinking evolve through stages. It contributes on active learning, which children are not passive learners but actively construct their knowledge. And it also contributes on the stages of development. Piaget have identified the 4 stages that I already addressed it on my previous slide. It also contributes on the cognitive mechanism, which is assimilation and accommodation. So, these are my references and my bibliographies. Thank you. So, I will end my presentation now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And thank you for your time.